Next returning player here, Darrell. This is the magnificent Troy Terzi. I got to be honest with you. I love the story of a guy who was not drafted and just wants a chance. And I think Troy definitely falls in that category. Alumnus of Keystone College.
Yes.
I believe one of our favorite Revs of all time, right?
Absolutely.
Keystone College alum.
Number is up in this clubhouse somewhere.
He's somewhere on the walls in here, folks. But of course, talking about Scott Grimes. I love that guy. Great ball player. So Troy comes from the same college and starting pitcher, right-handed pitcher. Some might say he has an unusual delivery. Have you ever seen anyone who has a windup like Troy?
Can't say that I have, and I don't think I had any idea of what was coming like before his first pitch last year. I think it was a surprise to all of us.
Right, yeah. Well, maybe not Mason Fletch.
No, right.
But for all of us watching, what's he doing out there? So for those of you who haven't seen him, he'll tap his foot on the rubber any number of times. It varies from pitch to pitch, which I first thought, isn't that a balk? And apparently it's not a balk, or else it would have been called on every pitch.
I think it tends to anger some of the veteran hitters
that
he's facing, but there's no rhyme or reason as to how many he does. It's just whatever he's feeling on that particular pitch.
Right. So you talked to him about that?
Yeah, I did.
And that's what he said. He said he just kind of, when it's time to go, he goes, and he'll kind of tap until it happens.
That's it. And I guess it's a little bit of a rhythm thing, but also just one more thing for the hitter to think about. And it is kind of crazy, how he slipped through the cracks and didn't get drafted.
Right.
I'm sure he comes in with a chip on his shoulder. And I know, talking to, there might have even been a scout here the night he made his debut, or it was right around that time. And the scouts clearly knew of him,
right?
But for whatever reason, he slipped through, and it's very unique for a guy to try to start his pro career here. But man, I was impressed with how well he handled himself.
I would agree with you. So setting aside his delivery, let's talk about the actual results. And he got fifth, sixth inning on his starts, which for, again, a guy with no previous professional background, that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
I just on his stuff, he doesn't overpower you with speed, but he's got some a knowledge of how to pitch. He changes speeds, changes locations. I thought he did pretty well for us.
Yeah, a lot of it was the breaking ball. I remember, big slider, a lot of depth on it. But I'm also interested, he might come in throwing harder this year. I've seen some things on social media that he has promoted. And a lot of these guys, there's some kind of, I guess, sort of newfound mechanical research out there that a lot of guys are buying into. Right. I'm not sure if he's specifically part of this drive line program, but that's what a lot of these guys are doing now.
What's it called now?
Drive line.
Okay. Sounds like something you do if you need your trucking license or something, Or
maybe there's one for that purpose
maybe
too.
There's one for that. All right.
But there's one for pitching.
All right.
And a lot of these guys are buying into it.
Okay.
And I saw him at least doing something similar. So
all right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in here this year, low 90s after being high 80s.
Right.
Year.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him back.
Mm-hmm.
So a veteran of our league, Jose Ortega, was with the Road Warriors last year, and also with Sugarland, which I didn't know until I looked it up. But had a large number of appearances with the Road Warriors last year. God bless him. Made it through a season with being on the road all year. He's a native of Venezuela. He's got 3 years in the bigs with Detroit. So this is a guy, he knows how to pitch. He's been around. In fact, I might be wrong. I might be missing something, but York would be his 29th professional team.
Wow.
So
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
know if I can count that high.
Yeah, he's been around professional baseball for a long time. Like I said, 3 years with the Tigers. Pretty effective last year for the Road Warriors.
Yes, and first of all, who wasn't with Sugarland for
That's true.
at least a week last year? But yeah, the bulk of his time with the Road Warriors, and the expectation really is, if he did what he did on the road all season, to bring him in, and he is a veteran guy that's been at the highest levels. He's had really good numbers at AAA where he's been for a long time.
Right.
If we can bring him into a comfortable environment where you're not packing and unpacking your bags every 2-3 days,
Right.
bussing all over the East Coast, a lot of times that ERA might be a full run lower
Right.
at home as opposed to on the road. So,
Yeah, think about everybody's home road splits.
Right.
Everybody performs a little better when they're sleeping in their own bed at night.
Yep.
They're comfortable and in their home environment. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I would expect a little better, and I would project him as a 6 through 8 inning guy.
I would.
He's
yeah.
probably not our closer, but he's a guy that we can hand the ball off to when our starter comes out of the game.
Right. And it's he's a great guy to have as a veteran presence. One of the exciting and intriguing things I think about this team that's being built is the mix of some really young guys that are
Right.
trying to prove themselves, and then your typical veteran guys that you tend to see in this league. It's an intriguing mix this year.
Absolutely. As we release more, and you out there watching already know some of our player releases, but I love the way this team looks right now.
Mhm.
So now we just got to get out there and prove it on the field.
That's right, and stay healthy.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, another major league guy, another returning player, Dustin Richardson, left-hander out of the pen.
Yes, sir.
Potential closer.
Potential, yeah.
What do you think about Mace's approach on that position this year? Do you think there's one guy, or do you think it's a committee kind of approach?
Right now, I think it's committee.
Okay.
Yeah, and there have been a lot of years where we kind of thought we knew who it would be, and then
Right.
it ends up being somebody else. There have been a lot of years where it's kind of like this year. Let's see who wins the job. But,
Right.
But with a lefty like Richardson, I could see it being more based on matchups, because you don't often have a left-hander like him that can come in the ninth inning. Left-handed closers are not quite as common
Right.
for whatever reason.
Right.
But a guy that throws as hard and as nasty as he does, and he's 6'5", 6'6", whatever.
Right.
He definitely has that stuff. So I could see it being based on matchups this
Yeah.
year. That wouldn't surprise me.
I would agree with that. I mean, this is a major league guy with the Red Sox for 2 years. Lifetime 3.31 ERA in the bigs. For whatever reason, didn't stick, but certainly has the stuff to get there and to perform at that level. So, I'm thrilled to have him back.
Yeah.
He's another guy who was with Sugarland, Darrell.
Imagine that.
Yeah, believe it or not. So, the other interesting thing about that, now that I think about it, is that the Major League rules changes that we're doing with our partnership with MLB, and one of them is that a reliever needs to face 3 batters. So no longer can you necessarily do a left-handed specialist, right-handed specialist. To have a guy like this who we know can get out guys from either side of the plate, I think that becomes really valuable.
Absolutely, yeah. I guess if there's one type of pitcher that those rule changes might hurt, it would be your, not to stereotype, but I'm thinking of like the sidearm submarine
Right.
lefty that doesn't throw as hard, that
Right.
comes in and tries to fool a same side hitter. Now all of a sudden he's got to bring that stuff into a righty who you ordinarily wouldn't want him to face.
Right.
But Richardson's a guy that I have no concerns about his ability to get both sides out.
Right. Yeah, we've seen a few of those submariner types in our league, haven't we?
Yeah, just a couple.
Here and there, yeah.
One of the things I love about Richardson's story, do you remember the ESPN reality show Night School?
I can't say that I do.
All right, so he went to Texas Tech.
Okay.
And this was a group of guys that were trying out for
Uh-huh.
Bob Knight's basketball team.
Oh, no kidding.
And it was a live reality, or not live, but it was a reality show on ESPN
Huh.
week by week, who made the cut, who got cut down.
Interesting.
So if he can survive maybe having a chair thrown at him in practice,
Wow.
he can probably survive. I don't know if that happened to him.
I had no
Right.
idea. I had no idea. So night school, KN.
KN Night School, yeah.
I had no idea. So he tried out. Did he make it?
He did not make it, but
That's
he's
too
a
bad.
tremendous athlete.
Yeah, I mean,
Tremendous
if he
athlete.
can do what he does, that's certain that he is.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back end of the bullpen. That's a solid person to add on your team.
Absolutely. And last year, he took over shortly after he was here, became the closer
Right.
in some games that we had to have just to stay alive into
Right.
the final week, which we did. And I remember one game at Somerset, he ended up, Patriots did what they do, little bloop, bunt, whatever,
Right.
walk, load the bases with no outs, and boom, 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 he gets out of it just like that. Then the next night, he came back and went 1, 2, 3 and shut him down on like 10 pitches. So he definitely, passed our test in that role late
Right.
last year, and
Right.
is really excited to have him from the beginning of the year this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Should be a big addition.
Mhm.
So, all right, folks. Well, that's it for this edition of Clubhouse Chatter. We'll see you next time.